All right, so I'm here today with David Wilson from Wilson Construction. All right, my man. So we're here today to talk a bit about your experiences, the results that you have, what tips you can pass on to other people, what's worked well, and to celebrate your journey of what you've achieved so far, going through the TPB program and what's been most helpful. And the thing I love most about what you've done is you take massive action. Your mindset looks like it's changed significantly over the time that we've been together, which I think's over 12 months or something. And also the results that you're getting, just like a ball when it's in momentum, just keeps gathering velocity and getting bigger wins. So yeah, I'm stoked to hear more. So can you tell me a little about your background, your company, and how things are set up and why you decided 𝘕𝘓𝘓?
Tracy, my fiance, and I, we moved across from Brisbane 5 years ago, and I started my own company 3 years ago, and since then we're residential builders here based in 𝘕𝘓𝘓. Like I said, the company's 3 years old now, so picking goals there, and we do mainly new residential extensions and renovations. That's the market.
Awesome. And who's on your team now in the office and out in the field?
So there's myself. I've got 2 foremen. I've got 2 apprentices, and I had 2 labourers. One labourer's just moved on now, and I've just created a new role for an office admin, which application closed this Friday. So
awesome.
Going to have someone in the office to free up some more time.
I love it. And how much time, what's that person in the office going to be doing?
Initially.
And how much time will it take off your shoulders?
So initially it's going to be 10 hours a week, which will free up me to focus more on working on the business and a bit more free time for myself and for my family, and just take one of those caps away from me that I'm wearing at the moment. Awesome.
I love it. Now, can you explain to me what was life like before joining up with us, before coming on board with TPB?
It was.
Or give people a little bit of background. You came from Australia?
I came from Australia. I've got 20 plus years building experience behind me, and I spent just under 7 years in the Australian Army before coming over here. So I got back into the building game when I got to New Zealand. I contracted with a local builder here. And then it was just time for me to make that next shift, to make that next step and go out on my own. So I took a big leap, and I needed to succeed. I never saw myself failing, but I was never shy to look for advice or help if I needed it. And it was just that mental aspect of not knowing how to run a business. I'm a builder, I was a soldier, I was never a businessman. And I think those areas of my skill set were lacking, and I sort of
awesome
reached out. Yeah.
I love it. Now, a lot of people are in the same situation. So, and I think there's 3 critical things that you hit upon. Number 1 was the need to succeed. If you're driven to do something and you have a burning desire and you have to, like, talk about weight loss, the people who are most successful with weight loss who've got a need to succeed. And typically that comes down to 2 things. Either 1, they've got a wedding come up, and there's a certain date, and they have to look good by then, particularly for the ladies. And secondly, if there's a medical condition or something that they have to massively change their lifestyle. So what was it about your need to succeed? What are some key things there that really stand out for you?
The number 1 priority for me was my family. I needed to be able to provide for my family, and I knew living in a smaller community that it was. I needed to succeed for my family and for myself. and that alone was a driving factor for me to be able to become a prominent builder, to engage new skills and new ideas and things like this. And it was never anything that I didn't go into business going, yeah, I know everything. That's foolish if you think that.
Yeah.
The biggest thing for me was to just, have that drive, have that passion, have that goals, set yourself goals and hit them, even though, just little ones step by step. But, every step that you hit, every goal that you hit is that one closer to the ultimate goal, and that's to,
Exactly. And one thing that you mentioned was you're not shy to look for help to, get the fast track or get what's working well. What is it that you think stops people doing that?
I think people will probably be more, wouldn't be so reluctant to ask for help if they knew that the right help was there. I think,
sure.
And you've got to be able to know where the most help would benefit you personally.
100%.
And the advice and the skills that I've learnt through TPB have they've just lifted my confidence and my skill set and my professionalism.
Awesome. I love that, my man. We'll talk specifically about that, what you've done in a minute. Can you explain to me what was life like before you came to us? So 15 months ago, what was life like? Where were you at?
I was building houses. I was generating some leads. There was a lot of word of mouth and things like that. And I was struggling in the fact that I wasn't always in residential building, which is what my goal was. My focus was to build houses and build beautiful houses and architectural design houses. But I found myself, doing fixing fences, building fences and decks and patios, and that's fine, it pays the bills. But I wanted to progress from there, and I just wasn't getting the satisfaction
Sure.
that I was after 15
Sure.
months ago.
Cool. I got it. And what about the hours that you were working, clarity on business, revenue, numbers wise? What did that look like?
I was spending up to hours pricing and QSing and quoting and running backwards and forwards from office to job to merchants to clients, and just I was spinning the wheels a lot in the early days, just trying to get systems in place that would accelerate me to success.
Sure. What sort of hours were you doing then?
60 plus. I was working 7 days a week, basically. My weekends were, I'd still try and take some time off. I don't think I was burning the candle at both ends. I wouldn't say that I was so engrossed in it, but
Sure.
I was my sole focus was to make it work. And in
Awesome.
doing so, I spent a lot of time, upwards of 60 plus hours a week.
Sure. Got it. So what have you implemented over that time in the last 15 months? If we look at the different areas and maybe just cherry pick, because you've implemented so much and you're an action taking machine, maybe cherry pick the key one or two things out of each area that have had the most impact.
Right, so by far, the major changes that I've had in the last 15 months have been my sales processes and my marketing. Those two big ticket items there have seen my growth accelerate substantially in the last 12, 15 months. That coupled with project management software has been the backbone of my growth in the last 15 months.
Awesome. So what have been the key elements within that that's made the biggest difference in either marketing or sales?
So having the systems, having the sales systems in place, using and utilising the toolbox that you provide. Like you say, just pull the trigger on and doing these things. Be proactive in following up leads. Be proactive in setting up your sales board. You know, those are the big changes that I've made, and it's the ones that have really made the most difference.
Awesome. Yeah, having that visibility of sales board, like even if it's sitting at 0, you're only going to have a day a week where you have to write up 0, 0, 0 before you're going to think, holy cow, I need to take some action.
Yeah.
But if it's out of sight, out of mind, then you know what gets measured gets managed, and what gets focused on improves.
Yeah.
No matter what you want to do with.
It's the same with the site. You know, the team setup, the site setup. It's just having the sale, not the sales board, but having a path, a direct, clear path in the site shed at work. You know, setting out the goals for the guys on the day, for the week, for the month, and for the job. It just enhances the building process.
Yeah. What's made the most difference out of the team and the on-site systems? What's helped to bring the team together? What have the results been?
The processes that we have in place for our team members now, we have daily logs, you know, team incentives. We have the roles and responsibilities of each individual member of my teams now. There's a clear-cut, defined role that they're used to, from the labourer through to the foreman. They follow it, they love it. You know, they utilise the project management software. They do their daily logs, they do their site meetings, they do their toolbox meetings, and they liaise with all the clients. I mean, it's just a step-by-step process, and it's written out for them.
Awesome. And what about productivity on site and team morale and visibility and accountability? How's that?
Yeah, it's good. Productivity has increased, I believe. The processes that we've put in place for our team members, you know, it keeps them accountable, but it also allows them to see how the job itself is going as well. The morale in the team is good. You know, we have incentive driven employees, and then we have employees that aren't necessarily incentive driven. They just want to see good processes and good systems and have an organisation. That really drives them. So we've got a bit of a cross section. You know, some like their 20% of profit saved and things like that, and then the other, you know, a couple that they just like having stuff on site when it's supposed to be there. You know what I mean? So
yeah, exactly.
And the process that I use are tailored for that.
Awesome. I love it. All right. What's been your biggest lesson over the last 15 months? Or biggest tip you could share with some of our other members?
I think knowing your numbers, knowing where the job sits in live time, knowing your back costing. I think that's really been the highlight of that, you know, mistakes or things like that. So yeah,
awesome.
Generally knowing where you're sitting, knowing where the job's at. Whereas
100%.
I was flying by the seat of my pants at the start, I had no idea where we're at. You know.
Yeah.
As long as it was coming in, more coming in than going out. That was it. You know.
So in terms of numbers, how have things changed from prior to starting with us? So if we look at time to now, revenue or turnover then to now, and profit or gross margin then to now.
I've certainly seen my margin increase, generally due to the fact of the having the confidence to be able to get paid for quoting, not negotiating on margin is a major lesson that I've learned, because we're the professionals in our business. We don't go to a doctors and ask them to drop their margin so we can get a better fee. They're the professionals.
100%.
So why should we drop our margin?
Exactly.
So I've learned that's been a big lesson for me. I've watched my GP grow after jobs now, from just simply using my project management software and back costing, and seeing where I'm coming short and where I'm actually gaining. And the gains have been progressively going up. So my GP's risen, and my margins, staying the same or going north as well. So it's all starting to really have a big impact on my margin and gross profit.
Awesome. And what about revenue? How is that looking, and how's it looking now?
So my sales in the last 12 months have gone, my sales board's full. My conversion rate, I think, is around between about 35 to 40% at the moment.
Yep.
So that it's turning from 1 to 1.5 houses a year to now. What are we now? I think I'm up to 3.5, nearly 4 a year now for a small business that is now 3 years old.
That's awesome.
In the last 15 months, it's just gone up from there.
Yeah, and the good thing is you're putting in the platform and the foundations where you can comfortably handle double that, because you're putting the systems in place instead of David Wilson doing all the running around, the admin, the project management, and every other aspect.
Yeah.
It's epic. And what about time? Are you doing more hours because of that? Are you doing less hours? How's your time?
Well, I'm doing less hours because I'm working more on the business and in the business rather than for it sometimes.
Yep.
One of my things that I need to work on myself is to stick to my default diary. I'm finding it.
Yep.
It's new, but I seem to find myself skewing from it sometimes, and that's one of the things I want to try and improve on, because that's going to free me up a lot more.
Awesome. Yeah, 100%. Your default diary is your God. You are the sum of your actions each day. So the more you can stick to that, and the more that falls in line with your values, whether it's you take every one Friday off a month to go shooting.
Yeah.
Might be one thing.
Yeah. Exactly.
Cool. So what's the number one thing that you've learned going through the process? So knowing your numbers is huge.
Yeah.
Is there anything else that pops up that's had a massive impact, or biggest lesson?
Yeah, knowing my numbers is number one. That's been the biggest valuable lesson for me so far. Also, project management software. Now, sometimes I approach project management software with a big long stick at the start, and I thought, why am I going to, spend so much more money on overheads to try and do this? But you know what? It's freed me up so much.
Awesome.
It has allowed me and my team to have that separation from that admin side of things.
Magic.
Now my team can use it. They use it to communicate with each other. They use it to communicate with subbies. They use it to communicate with the clients, myself.
Awesome.
It's just become such a valuable asset and a tool for my company. I can't speak so highly of it. Yeah.
Awesome. Now, if we switch gears for a moment, what about mindset, and how's your mindset changed? And along with that, how have you changed as a leader and as a person?
Good question. So it's a hard one though, but I think I've become more intuitive in the way that I see the systems in place. I've become more aware of myself and in my position in the company, and I've become more aware of just the goings on around me by being more focused on the tools at hand. And also my approach to business, my approach to the business has had a big impact on my awareness.
Yeah. Everything that I can see from meeting you 12 months ago in person in Hanma to now, you seem calmer, wiser, a truckload more focused, like real focus, really strong confidence, clarity, and belief that you're, heading in the right path. You're doing business with the right ideals and right values, and you've got massive momentum and progress. Like, it's epic to see. Despite your results, or as well as your results, the person that you're becoming is awesome. How would you speak to that?
Yeah, thanks, mate. I remember fondly meeting you here in Hanma 12 months or more ago, and saying to you, I want to take baby steps. I want to do this and I want to do that, and I think the confidence in me, because I wasn't confident that I'll be able to implement all of these things at once and all that sort of stuff. I didn't feel that I had the time or patience to do it. But mate, I tell you what, and I can see the difference in myself as well as what you've just explained there, in the way that I've changed. And I think it's great. I think it's awesome. And it hasn't been a burden. It hasn't been difficult. It hasn't been what I thought it would be. It's been very easy, and it's been easy to follow and easy to follow the bouncing ball and just work through your systems and work through the toolbox. And it's great.
I love the platform that you're building, and you're doing it in such a consistent, strategic manner that's making so much sense, and plugging the gaps as they come. And the biggest gap, like I think you were telling me at the beginning, you had another lead drop into your inbox this morning. Yeah. So I got a phone call last night from a couple that were down from the North Island, actually, and they just bought a section in Hanma last night. So the ink is still wet, and I got a phone call, and it was a referral from one of the local real estate agents up here in Hanma. And it's the process of qualifying that every client, every lead is unique in the way that, yes, you follow the systems in place, but you've got to be able to adjust on the fly sometimes. And I think I qualified this guy last night on the phone within about 5 minutes. And I got that good feeling from him. So I set up a site meeting today, because I had to fly back up to the north this afternoon. And just meeting on site and taking the questionnaire with me, instead of sending it out to him, I took the questionnaire with me on site. So I had the site meeting, I had the client meeting, and I had the questionnaire all in one setting. So it saved time, it saved communication, it just highlighted how professional the whole meeting was. And I've got a preliminary budget estimate out of them, and awesome.
High fives.
I love it. Brilliant. How big's the house? 200 squares, and
it's going to be at this stage, 200 plus. Yeah, they're looking over some plans. Some of the plans that I have on offer and things like that. So
because of your professionalism, they said basically, we want you as our preferred builder.
Pretty much, Matty. Yeah, that was good. After I got off the phone with them last night, I didn't stop qualifying them. I followed up straight away with a text saying, "Yep, looking forward to the meeting tomorrow." In the meantime, check out my website, check out my how we work with you, check out my team, take a look at the plans I have on offer. So the qualifying process is just ongoing, and it reiterates how people will perceive you if you take interest in their matters and show them information and show you how valuable your information can be.
100%, because this is the biggest investment of their life. For a lot of people, it's the first time they built or second time. or the first or second time they've renovated. So they've got all these concerns and fears, and they want to know, who are you, who's your company, can I trust you, and how specifically can you help me? So if we can have our marketing do the heavy lifting in here and have a good structured sales process as well, it's going to give people massive confidence that you're the right company with the right systems that's going to do right by them throughout the project.
Yep.
Awesome. All right. And lastly, sir, what's been your proudest moment so far? And what would you say to someone who's stuck with where they're at or wants to fast track their results? So proudest moment so far in the last 15 months?
Proudest moment for me is probably ticking all my goals, setting goals and achieving them. Being successful. Like a lot of people at the start thought I wouldn't be up to it, and thought that I would fade away. But now I'm one of Hanma's most prominent builders, and I'm only growing.
That's awesome.
So that's just been that's been my goal. My top goal was to succeed, and that's been dealt with every day, every job, every lead, every qualification, and that sort of thing. So the biggest.
And you're in the position now that your positioning becomes your position.
Yep.
Like I remember us 3 or 4 years ago, we'd say, hey, we've got 5 calls after you, so we'll need to stick to time. And we might have had 3 that day and maybe 3 or 4 the next day. But now it's like, hey, we've got 5 calls after you, and we literally have like 30 to 40 calls after you. Yeah. So your positioning becomes your position, and you've massively grown into that, which is awesome to see.
Yeah, I think what do they say, that imitation is the best form of flattery, and I see a lot more companies around the area now that have gone, hang on, that's sort of what's going on here, sort of thing. So I think it's been very well noted, and I get commented and complimented on the way that I market myself and my sales, and the way that I've positioned myself in Hanma. And people comment on it, and it's nice to hear, So
yeah, it's brilliant. Well done, mate. And that's a massive thing, is being successful internally manifests itself in being successful externally.
Yeah.
And I truly believe that you need to get yourself under control, or yourself performing well, living to your values, doing the right things that you should do each and every day, and that'll manifest itself in the business. Because quite often people don't just have business problems, they have life problems that transfer over and show up in their business.
Yeah, absolutely. And some of the things that have changed me personally, like that, I've been just more family time, being more family orientated, having more in-depth conversations with my children about other things outside of our business and work, and it's awesome, mate.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right. And lastly, what would you say to someone who's a little bit stuck, or wants to go faster, or not sure where they're at and what they should focus on in their business?
Well, my advice would be, don't give up. Don't think that it's daunting going out on your own. It's daunting that you have to, talk to clients and talk to staff and things like that. But don't give up. Ask for help, or look for help as well, not as just asking it. Be accountable and know your numbers. Being accountable, that's probably one of my biggest things, is to own your mistakes, own everything, own your process of why you wanted to get into business to start with, and work from that. You're going to make mistakes, learn from them, but at the same time reward yourself for your successes.
Yep. 100%. We're massively about that. You got to work on yourself first, the B, and then set yourself up for wins. So that means regular nurturing yourself every 90 days, take a break, structure your week with your default diary, so you've got in there time for family time, kids, wife, shooting deer, etc., and whatever other passions and hobbies that you're into. And then when you're working on the business, and that from your default diary, everything else will grow out, because you'll be putting those 5 hours a week into working on the business, systemizing it. Right. And what are the master plans going forward? Dominating Hanma.
Yeah.
What else is where do you want to take the business?
You know look, yeah. So she's onwards and upwards for me. I'm you know, I want to look at working on my leads, getting more leads and more conversions. Getting paid to quote is steadily rising. You know, I'm getting better at that. I need to be able to recruit and expand.
Sure.
Very, very wisely here in Hammer Springs. We're unique in the way that we're isolated in some areas. We don't have that access to qualified labour at all times. So it is a nurturing process for me and my apprentices to try and build my company from the ground up, as well as, you know, trying to draw professionals to my company as well. So, and obviously more time off. Everyone wants more time off.
Yeah, 100%. Well, why don't you and I book a time for probably 2 to 3 weeks away, or 3 to 4 weeks away, and we'll do a review of where you're at and where you want to go, and then we can actually plan out, because we will have had the first numbers webinar that's coming up on October the 15th, where we're going to go through what are your numbers, what are your leads, what are your conversion rate, and then we're going to extrapolate out what are the specific strategies that you can work on and what impact they'll have, and then we can get a plan from there. How does that sound?
Awesome, mate. Yeah, definitely looking forward to it.
Yeah, man. Okay, cool. Hey, it's been a pleasure talking today, Dave.
No, Marty. No worries at all.
Great to be able to move my neck up slightly. And yeah, man, I'm stoked to see your progress. I love seeing the success you've had and also the person that you've become and are becoming. And it's great to see your success. And I look forward to seeing more and more wins in the future and helping you get a plan together.
Good on you, Marty. Thanks very much for your help, mate.
My pleasure. Appreciate you, Dave. Have a good day, man.
See you, bye.
See you, brother.